Hello students, in this video we are going to study the remaining part of the chapter number 11. The chapter name is Force and Pressure, Class 8, Subject Science NCERT. In the previous video of this chapter we had seen about force, what is force and how the force affects the different state of any object. We had seen that a push or a pull on an object is called a force. Then after we had seen that the strength of a force is expressed by its magnitude, and with that we have to also represent its direction, that in which direction the force is acting. Then after we had seen that when two forces act on the object in the opposite directions, then the net force, or you can say resultant force, is equal to the difference of the applied forces and in the direction of the greater force. The force which value is higher, in that direction you can find the effect of the resultant force. And when two forces act on the object in the same direction, then the net force is equal to the sum of the two applied forces, and it is in the direction of any one of the force. Then after we had seen that when the direction and or the magnitude of the force changes, its effects also changes. The state of motion of an object is described by its speed and direction of motion, or you can say by both we can represent the state of motion of any object. Then after we had seen that an object may be at rest or in motion, or both are its state of motion. These are the two states of motion of any object. Then after we had seen that the force applied brings a change in the state of motion of any object, and the speed of an object increases if the force applied on the object is in the direction of the motion of the object, and the speed of an object decreases if the force applied on that object is in the direction opposite to that at the motion of the object. Then we had seen that the application of the force on an object changes its shape if the object is not able to move. So these are the some of the effects of force we had seen on any object. So now in this video we are going to study the different types of the force. The mainly two types of forces are there, that is contact force and non-contact force. So here we are going to study some of the example of these different two types of forces, that is contact forces and non-contact forces. So first in the contact forces, first example is of muscular force. So now let we see what is the muscular force. So can you push or lift a book lying on the table without touching it? No. To lift or to push the object, or here in our case to book, we should or there should be contact between these two objects, that is with our hand and book. Can you lift, another example of that is, can you lift a bucket of water without holding it? So no, you cannot lift the bucket without holding that bucket. For that you have to hold the bucket, or you can say there should be the contact between the hand and the bucket to lift the bucket. Generally, to apply the force on an object, your body has to be in contact with the object. It is necessary that the contact should be there between your body and any other object on which you are applying the force. So the contact may also be with the help of stick or piece of rope. You can maintain this contact with the help of any other objects like the stick or then after piece of rope. And when we push an object like a school bag or lift a bucket of water, then where does the force come from? Have you ever wondered that when we are lifting the bucket or when we are pushing any object like school bag, then from where we are applying the force? So this force is caused by the actions of muscles in our body. This is because of the muscles in our body the force is applied. The force resulting due to the actions of muscles is known as the muscular force. The force which we are applying because of the muscles of our body, that is known as the muscular force. And this force we are applying because of the actions of the muscles, that is contraction and relaxation of the muscles. And it is the muscular force that enables us to perform all the activities involving moving or bending of our body. We can move the different parts of our body, or also we can bend our body, that is from back, then after we can bend our hand. So this all activity we can perform because of this muscular force. And in class 7 you have learned that in the process of digestion also the food gets pushed through the alimentary canal. We are not pushing the food by our hand, but in our alimentary canal the food is pushed forward. So this also could it be a muscular force that does this, or because of which the food is moving further in the alimentary canal? So yes, that is the muscular force. Because of the muscles which are present over there, the food went further in the alimentary canal. You also note that the lungs expand and contract while we inhale and exhale the air during the breathing. So of course in the inhalation and exhalation our muscular force is also there, or we are applying the muscular force. And where are these muscles located which makes the breathing possible? Can you list few more examples of the force exerted by the muscles in our body? So you know already, we had studied already where these muscles are located. We had seen that around the bones the muscles are located. If you will observe your arms, then around the arms the muscles are there. When you are moving your arms, one of or you can say upper muscle is, when you are bending your arm, then your upper muscle will contract, and at the same time your lower muscle of the arm will expand. So because of this contraction and expansion of this muscle, you are able to move your hand. So because of these muscles in our body, we are able to apply the muscular forces. So this is about the human. So now what about the animals? Does animals also applying the muscular force, or the muscular force is acting within them? So animals also make use of muscular force to carry out their physical activities and other different tasks. Like us also, the animals are also performs the different physical activities and other tasks for that they are using the muscular forces. Animals like bullocks, horses, donkeys and camels are used to perform various tasks for us. We are using these domestic animals to perform different tasks like to carry loads and for the farming purpose. So in performing these tasks, they use the muscular force. Here in the figure you can see that these bullocks are using the muscular force to carry out or to transport the goods which is loaded over the cart. So animals are also applying the muscular force. So since the muscular force can be applied only when it is in contact with an object, it is also called a contact force. When the muscular force is applied, and at that time we know that the contact should be there with an object, so that's why this force is also known as the contact force, or muscular force is an example of contact force. So now question is there, are there other types of contact forces are also there? So let me find out the other examples of this contact force. So next example of this contact force is friction or frictional force. Recall some of your experience. A ball rolling along the ground gradually slows down and finally comes to the rest. If you are pushing the ball along the level surface, then after some time, at some point this ball will slow down and finally it will come into the rest. And when we stop the pedaling a bicycle, it gradually slow down and finally comes to a stop. Same with the cycle, when we are stopping pedaling the bicycle, after some time the speed of the bicycle will slow down and at some point it will stop. Same with the bus, car or scooter also comes to rest once its engine is switched off. If we switch off the engines, this vehicle will come into the rest position. So similarly, a boat comes to rest if we stop rowing it. Like the water vehicle also, in the case of boat, it will also stop when we are rowing or when we stop the rowing. So can you add some more such experience? So here we had seen these many examples when we are stopping, or we are not continuously, if we are not continuously applying the force on any object, then after some time the speed of, if the object is in motion, then after some time its speed will decrease, and at some point it will comes into the rest. So in this all situation, no force appears to be acting on the object, yet their speed is gradually decreases and they come to rest after some time. Here in all the cases we cannot see the force which is acting on that object. However, the speed is gradually or slowly decreasing and they came into the rest after some time. We had seen that if the speed of an object will increase or decrease, then we can say that the some force is acting on that object. So here in this case also, the speed of any object is decreases, but here we cannot see the force, in which direction this force is applied or who is applying this force. So what causes a change in their state of motion? Why this state of motion of this different object changes? Could some force be acting on that? So yes, there is some force, as we had seen that the speed is decreases, that means there is the change in state of motion of that object. So that means the some force is acting over there. So can you guess the direction in which the force must be acting in each case? So yes, you can guess how we had seen that if the force is applying on the opposite direction of the motion, that means if the object is going in this direction and the force is applying in this direction, then the speed of this object will decrease. Here in each of our case, the speed of the object is going to decrease, and some point this object come into the rest. So that means the force is acting on the opposite direction of the motion of that object. So the force which is responsible for changing the state of motion of object in all the cases are the example of frictional force or the force of friction. The force which is acting in each of these example is known as the force of friction, or you can say frictional force. And it is the force of friction between the surface of ball and the ground that brings the moving ball to the rest. This friction force is acting between the surface of the ball, that means the surface of any of the object which we are considering, and the ground. So this frictional force brings the moving ball to the rest, or the speed of the object is decreases, and at some time it will come into the rest. So the contact force, that is frictional force, is working or is acting between that surface of the ground and the surface of that object. So similarly, the friction between the water and boat brings it to stop once you stop rowing. In the case of boat also, the frictional force is there between the surface of boat and water, and because of that frictional force, once you stop rowing, this boat will stop. So frictional force is working over there also. So we can say that the force of friction always acts on all the moving object, and its direction is always opposite to the direction of motion. From this we can say that if any object is in motion, then frictional force is working over there, or it is acting over there, and the direction of this frictional force is in the opposite to the direction of the motion. If the object is moving in this direction, then the direction of the friction is opposite to the motion of that object. So since the force of friction arises due to the contact between the surfaces, it is also an example of contact force. Here we had seen that there is the contact between the surface of object and ground. So that means the contact is there between the two objects. So that is why we can also say that this frictional force is also the example of contact force. And you will learn more about this force, that is frictional force, in chapter number 12. Now you may wondering whether it is essential for the agent, or you can say for the factor applying a force on an object, to be always in contact with that object. That means it is always necessary that contact should be there between two objects if we want to apply the force, or the contact is all the time necessary to apply the force. So now let me find out that whether the contact should or if the contact is not there between the two objects, then the force we can apply, or we can say that the force is acting over there or not. So for that, next type of force is given here, that is non-contact forces. So here our contact forces gets over. In that we had seen two examples, that is muscular force and frictional force. In muscular force we had seen that we are applying the force because of or actions of muscles in our body, and the muscular force, the contact should be there between our hand and the other object on which we want to apply the force. The another example we had seen about the frictional force, in which we had seen that the contact should be there between the surface of the object and between the ground, or you can say between the two surface of the objects. So these are the contact forces. Now next example, next type of force is non-contact forces, and in that first example of the non-contact forces is magnetic force. So now to understand the first example of non-contact force, that is magnetic force, here one activity is given to you, that is activity number 11.6. For that you require a pair of bar magnets, then after place a longer side of one of the magnets over the three round shaped pencils or a wooden roller as shown in the figure. That means in short you have to make the wooden roller. This type of, you have to take the one bar magnet, and then after you have to put this bar magnet on the wooden pencil like this, and then after bring the one end of the other bar magnet near the end of the magnet which is placed on the roller like this one. You have to bring the one end of this bar magnet towards this magnet which is placed on the roller. Then after make sure that the two magnets do not touch each other, and observe what happens to both of these bar magnets. Next you have to bring the other end of the magnet near the same end of the magnet which is placed on the roller like this. First one, here you can see that near the red color end we are bringing the blue color end of the other magnet, and here we are bringing the same end of these two different bar magnets to each other. So note what happens to the magnet which is placed on the roller every time another magnet is brought near the bar magnet which is placed on the roller. So here you can see, or you will observe that in the first case, when we are bringing the two different ends of the bar magnets near each other, then these both magnets will attract each other, and this roller will move in this direction because it is attracted by the another bar magnet. And when we are bringing the two different ends of the bar magnet to near the each other, then because of the same end, this bar magnet will repel each other, and this bar magnet which is there on the roller, it will move in the opposite direction, or it will roll in the opposite direction. So when the end of the second magnet is brought near the end of first magnet placed on the roller, the first magnet begins to move towards the second one, that is in this case. And when the second magnet is reversed and we are changing the ends, then when we brings near the first magnet which is placed on the roller, the first magnet moves on the rollers away from the second magnet, that is in this case. So from this activity we can say that the first magnet on the roller moves to or and fro without physical contact with the other magnets. That means it is moving forward and backward without the physical contact with the other bar magnet. So it means that some force which is attracting or repulsing, that force is acting between these two bar magnets, and this moves the first magnet near and away from the second magnet. So in the other words, we can say that there is an attraction and repulsion between these two magnets. So we can say that like poles, that means similar poles of the two magnets repel each other. That means the magnet will go into the back direction or away from the other magnet, and the unlike poles, that means the different poles attract each other. So this is the magnetic force. Here let we see the same thing is given to you. some questions are asked to you that does the magnet on the roller begins to move when the other magnet is brought near the first magnet? So that we had already answered. Does it always move in the direction of the approaching magnet? We had seen that no, at all the times it will not move in the same direction, that is of approaching the magnet. And what does this observation suggest? So that we had seen that some force that is attracting the other magnet and sometime it is repulsing the other magnet. So does it mean that some force must be acting between these two magnets? So yes, some force is there between these two magnets. So you have learned in the class 6 that like poles of two magnets repel each other and unlike poles attract each other. That means the same poles repulse each other. That means we already know that the bar magnet has the two poles, that is north pole and south pole. If we bring north pole near the north pole of the other magnet, then it will repulse to each other. And if we bring the unlike poles, that means different poles near the each other, that means north near the south or south near the north, then it will attract the each other. So attraction or repulsion between the objects can also be seen in another form of pull or push, or we can represent this attraction and repulsion in the form of push and pull that we had seen in the first activity already. So do you have to bring the magnets in contact for observing the force between them? So no, here we had seen that the two magnets are not in contact with each other, however they are applying the force on each other. So bar magnet can exert, or you can say can apply a force on the other bar magnet without being in contact with the magnet. So the force exerted or applied by a magnet is an example of non-contact force. So we can say that this magnetic force is the non-contact force because there is the no contact between these two objects or between these two magnets. So similarly, the force exerted or applied by a magnet on a piece of iron is also non-contact force. We know that the magnets attracts the iron pieces. So when the magnet attracting the iron pieces, that is also non-contact force because the contact is not there between the iron piece and magnet. So this one is the first example of the non-contact force, that is magnetic force. Now the another example of non-contact force is given to you, that is electrostatic force. For that one activity is given to you here, that is activity number 11.7. For that you require a plastic straw and then after cut it into nearly 2 equal pieces and suspend one of the pieces from the edge of a table with the help of piece of thread. Like here in the figure it is shown to you. You have to place one piece of this straw on the table, or you have to hang this using a thread on the table, and then after hold the another piece of straw in your hand and rub its free end with the sheet of paper. That means this straw or this piece of straw has rubbed with the sheet of paper. Then after bring this rubbed end of the straw near the suspended straw like this one. So, and make sure that the two pieces do not touch each other, and you have to observe what is happening. Then after in the next you have to rub the free end of the suspended piece of straw with a sheet of paper. In the other case you have to rub this piece of the straw with the paper, and then again you have to bring the piece of straw that was rubbed earlier with the paper near the free end of the suspended straw, and again you have to observe what happens with these two pieces of the straw. That means in the first case you have to rub only this one, and in the second case you have to rub both of these, and then you have to bring these two pieces near each other without maintaining or without making the contact between these two. So while performing this activity, you will observe that in the first case, when the rubbed end of the straw is bring near the suspended straw, it moves towards the rubbed end of the straw. So that means this shows the attraction between these two pieces. And in the second case, when the free end of the suspended piece of the straw rubbed is with the sheet of paper, and again the piece of straw that was rubbed earlier brings near to it, then the suspended piece of the straw moves away from it. that shows the repulsion between these two straw. That means when we are rubbing the only one piece of straw, then it will attract the other one, and when we are rubbing both of them, then they will repulse each other. So from this activity we can say that a piece of straw is said to have acquired or it gets the electrostatic charge after it is rubbed with the sheet of paper. And both these straws attract each other due to the unlike, or we can say different charges which is present on them, and they repulse each other due to the same type of charges which is present on their different piece of straw. So there is an attractive force exists between the unlike or different charges, and repulsive force is there between the like charges. So that force is known as the electrostatic force. Here it is given to you that a straw is said to have acquired or it gets acquired, that means to gain the electrostatic charge after it has been rubbed with a sheet of paper, and such kind of straw is an example of the charged body. And the force exerted or applied by a charged body on the another charged or uncharged body, it is known as the electrostatic force. And this force comes into play even when the bodies are not in contact with each other. So the electrostatic force, therefore it is the another example of an non-contact force. And about this electrostatic force we will learn more about in the chapter number 15. So this one is the another example of non-contact force, and last one example for non-contact force is the gravitational force. So now let me see what is this. So you already know that a coin or a pen falls on the ground when it slips off our hand. Anything which we are holding in our hand, if it slips off that object, then this pen or whatever the object is there, it will fall on the ground. Leaves and fruits same also fall on the ground when they get detached from the plants. Have you ever wondered why they are coming downwards, why they are not going the upwards? So we already know the force which is discovered by the scientist Newton, that is gravitational force. Because of that, these all objects are coming or towards the earth. So now let me see about that. So when the coin is held in your hand, it is at the rest. So as soon as it is released from our hand, it begins to move downwards. And it is clear that the state of motion of the coin undergoes a change. That means earlier it was at rest and then after it comes into the motion. So can this happen without a force acting on that coin? So no, we know that if this state of motion gets changed, that means some force is acting over that object. So now question is that which is that force? So now let me find the object or things falls towards the earth because it pulls them, because the earth pulls that object, that's why it is coming towards the earth. So this force is called a force of gravity, or you can also say as the gravity only. So this is the force of gravity or gravitational force. This is an attractive force. The force of gravity acts on all the objects, and the force of gravity acts on all of us all the time without our being aware of it. This force of gravity acts on all the objects and in fact on us also, and if we don't know, sometimes without knowing that this force is acting on us, however at that time also this force of gravity is acting on us. Waters, like some here example is given to you, that water begins to flow towards the ground as soon as we open the tap. As soon as we open the tap, the water starts flowing towards the ground. Water in the river also flows downwards due to the force of gravity. All the objects, if it is released, then it comes to the ground or it starts moving towards the ground. So that is because of the force of gravity. And gravity is not the property of the earth only, it is the every object in the universe, whether that object is small or large, it exerts, or you can say it applies a force on every other objects, and this force is known as the gravitational force. That means the earth do not only alone obtain, or it contains only the gravitational force. All the object in the universe, whether it is small or large, in fact we are also applying a force on the other rest of the every objects, which is known as the gravitational force, and this force attracts the other objects towards them. and there is also again no contact is there between these two objects. So that is why this gravitational force is an also example of non-contact force. So till now in this chapter we had seen that what is force, how we can represent the different activities around us as the push or pull, then how the force can affect on any object. Then after we had seen the different types of the force, in that we had seen that main two types of forces are there, that is contact forces and non-contact forces. In contact forces we had seen some example, that is muscular force and frictional force. In non-contact forces we had seen example, that is magnetic force, electrostatic force and gravitational force. The remaining part, that is pressure, we will study in the next video. Thank you.